Let's cut to the chase, David. I got to ask you about the end of that Tennessee-LSU game. I know you were watching the game in Dallas. Was that one of the wildest things you have ever seen?
Yeah, and you know, it's tough to separate the emotions from a moment like that because it's so emotional. I mean, I was on my feet screaming. I was celebrating the ineptness of Les Miles, and you know, I mean, in no uncertain terms, and suddenly, you know, that came back to bite us all, and immediately, because that's a coaching mistake. I mean, getting those guys in and out. Now, I don't know about the time allowed for substitutions, but I know that there was no 2 or 4 seconds with the official standing over the ball after LSU made their substitutions. That did not happen. But at the same time, you know, going in and out like that, it was terribly, it was terrible emotionally. But when you think back to what we did with our lack of depth, and some say our lack of talent, that's still up for debate. These guys play their hearts out, and I think that's what you got to take away from this football game.
Since you were last with us, Tennessee's gone through a lot. They got the third coach in 3 years. You had Lane Kiffin. He is suddenly there. As you sit here, and you talked about it, Dave, you talked about the fact that they look at Tennessee's numbers are down. They talk about the talent's down. As you sit there, you live in Knoxville, you live with this thing every day. In your mind, what's the state of the Tennessee football program right now?
Rebuilding, to say the least, but there didn't seem to be anybody ready to catch UT and their tradition, like Coach Fulmer did, like Coach Majors did. Lane Kiffin came in. I didn't know this when I talked to you last year. Lane Kiffin came in and put USC tapes where the volunteer tapes were in the football facility. He had Ed Orgeron teaching them USC cheers, you know, to get them fired up. He was trying to turn us into a Southern Cal, and I had no idea of that until after the season was over. But that's very detrimental and erosive to this kind of quality, and that's the kind of thing that the powers above Lane Kiffin should have had something to do with, and they weren't. They were MIA, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the hiring of Lane Kiffin and the whole that's not Lane Kiffin's fault. He is who he is. It's our fault for hiring him.
We've been talking about this stretch of the Tennessee schedule. We've been talking about it all summer. I mean, this would be a tough stretch for a team that was really deep. But now, you know, you played Florida, now you got to go to Georgia, you got Alabama, you got South Carolina. This is a brutal stretch for Tennessee right here.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I will take the team I saw on the field Saturday over the team that I imagined before this season started any day. I'm looking forward to these ball games because our players know that they can line up and mash anybody's mouth, and they feel good about what they did against one of the best defenses in the country, one of the poorest coaching staffs, Chavis accepted. But I think they. I'm happy with where we are as a football team right now, and I know that's crazy, but I am. I'm excited by what I'm seeing on the field. I love watching these guys develop and get better every week. Matt Sims is earning me confidence. I used to get a clench in my throat when he'd go back to throw. Now I'm looking forward to where the ball's going to go. That's a change that happens seismically in people and fans as they watch this game, and that's directly to Derek Dooley. Back to what's going on at UT. We can't just point our finger at the football team. Basketball program's got problems. Baseball is NCAA's looking at when do they ever looked at a baseball program, and a losing one at that? Coaches are there. Good coaches are supposed to stretch the envelope, but the limits that are set for these coaches have to be set by the administration, and that's the box that they're not allowed to get out of. You give any aggressive alpha coach all the leeway that he needs, and eventually, just in his own zeal, there's going to be some of these silly little lines that the NCAA has drawn out there that are crossed. They're not severe things. So what if a player went by a coach's house? I mean, big deal, really. We're not paying the players. But if that administration is not setting those limits for those coaches, invariably an aggressive coach is going to cross a line. They may not even know it.